Right now, the Frozen Assets Festival brings winter fun to Lake Mendota, and we detail efforts by local high schoolers to combat food insecurity in our community. That's all coming up on News 3 Now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. Well, if you've been looking outside, you might see some snowflakes headed to the ground. With that, let's get a look at your first warn forecast with the meteorologist Blaze Keller, who joins us from the weather patio. Blaze, what are you seeing out there?
We got a little bit of snow falling here outside of the studio, just a little bit of flake activity, not anticipating a lot in the way of accumulation. Looks like probably a dusting right now if I'm kind of just eyeballing it. Southern Wisconsin, we edged up those totals as we went into the day yesterday, and it's because we were anticipating and have seen that most of that snow has fallen north of at least Madison, even north of the Dells. We're still looking at a winter weather advisory for Juneau and Adams County, but I suspect that will be allowed to expire here very shortly. We're estimated to have picked up around 4 inches of snow up there near Wausau, but you can see the snow vision estimates even higher totals up near Green Bay. So where we find those lesser totals, it's kind of where it's snowing now. That little light gray over parts of Dane County into parts of Dodge County is this light snow activity. This is going to continue to push eastward, and as I mentioned, probably a few tenths of an inch at best. So likely a lot of us made off with less than an inch of snow, but in the light blue, that's where we were anticipating anywhere between 1 to 3 inches of this snowfall. As we go into the rest of your evening, Future Track is going to keep us quiet for the most part once the snow wraps up, and clouds are going to be sticking with us, but slowly becoming more partly cloudy as the night goes on. We'll settle into the single digits and teens as well, but there are a few more chances for snow in the forecast. We're looking at Wednesday, and we'll talk about it here in just a few minutes.
Sounds good. Blaze will see you in just a bit. The Frozen Assets Festival is back on Lake Mendota. The event raises money to protect Madison's lake. Our Tanisha Shaw is on the ice with more.
Skating. I love skating on the ice. I think in the winter it's one of the best things you can do.
It's typical to see ice skaters on Lake Mendota in the winter. Saturday, hundreds of people got on the ice to give back.
We're really excited because we almost had 800 people come out and do the Frozen Fun run walk on the lakes.
Colin Bailey is a junior at UW and says seeing people on the ice with him is refreshing.
It's so nice, especially in the winter when usually you walk around and you don't see that many people. When you're out on the ice with everyone, it's amazing.
In addition to skating, attendees saw dancing, science experiments, kites, and more.
14 to 16 inches thick of ice, which turns this into Wisconsin's biggest outdoor park.
The festival wraps up Sunday evening. It has already raised more than $30,000.
Kleenex is all about creating watershed stewardship for people to know what they can do. So we do education, water quality monitoring, volunteerism, beach cleanups.
If you can't make it out this year, it's okay. There's ways to support Madison's lakes throughout the year.
Volunteerism and remembering, salt on the sidewalks, anything like that, it's better to sweep that up and don't over salt your driveway or your sidewalk.
Reporting in Madison, Tanisha Shaw, News 3 Now.
Tanisha, thank you. Now to an Amber Alert for a teen from Beaver Dam. Authorities continue to look for 16-year-old Sophia Franklin. Now take a look at your screen. Franklin is believed to be 3 months pregnant. She was last seen Monday with 40-year-old Gary Day. Day is believed to be the father of her child. Now the Amber Alert is extended to Arkansas. Authorities say Day was last seen in a 2014 Buick LaCrosse registered in Pennsylvania with the plate numbers KGW 5186. Again, the plate numbers were KGW 5186. The Wisconsin State Journal is apologizing to its subscribers after not publishing their print and e-papers this week. They have now confirmed they were a victim of a cybersecurity attack and have notified law enforcement. In today's paper, the Journal says Lee Enterprises, the parent company of the Wisconsin State Journal and 14 other newspapers in Wisconsin, was the victim of a cybersecurity event that shut down many of its networks this week, the company announced Friday. They go on to say the company is working to identify and implement steps to prevent this from ever happening again. A driver is dead after a crash in Mineral Point Friday afternoon. The crash happened just before 5 p.m. on U.S. Highway 151 near mile marker 39, where a single southbound vehicle went off the road and struck a rock wall. They were ejected from the vehicle and life-saving efforts were unsuccessful. They were pronounced dead at the scene by the Iowa County Coroner's Office. The driver was identified as 32-year-old Anthony Wendt of Platteville. 1 in 10 people are facing food insecurity in Wisconsin, but Middleton high schoolers are taking matters into their own hands. Our Elia Liberté shows us the story.
We're with Middleton Meals Matter, and we're hosting a food drive for our local food pantry today. If you could get anything on that list and donate right over there, it'd be greatly appreciated.
When we started this, we never could imagine how rewarding it could feel, seeing like all these people coming to food drives, being excited to volunteer, being excited to donate.
Middleton High School seniors Wyatt Earhart and Noah Duckett have a vision.
We wanted to make an impact somewhere, and we wanted to help our community.
A vision to fight food insecurity.
And when we heard that that food insecurity was at a 30-year all-time high, we knew something had to be done.
So they co-founded Middleton Meals Matter.
We've been going for 7 months now.
And in those 7 months, they've raised roughly 26,000 pounds of food and nearly $20,000.
We never imagined. I mean, honestly, the first time we were planning like this whole thing, we wrote down on a piece of paper, like our goals for this year were to raise like 200 pounds of food.
Partnering with Way Forward Food Pantry.
And one thing they said is how grateful they were for us and us being here. They just ran out of toilet paper and we came in and refilled all their stocks. You know, it's something that seems so small, but we can really see the impact firsthand.
So once a month, the group gets outside stores like this one.
Have a good one.
To continue the food fight.
So if you can do something, do something. These people are great for sitting out in the cold and trying to get people to donate a few things so somebody can maybe have a little something.
Reporting in Madison, Elia Liberté, News 3 Now.
Ellie, thank you. The group is also working to promote youth volunteering, going to middle and elementary schools, and talking with other districts to expand the program. That's awesome, guys. Keep up the good work. Coming up next on News 3 Now at 6, USAID workers who are set to be placed on leave Friday were given a reprieve by a federal judge who granted a preliminary injunction. All that we know so far. Plus, the governor of Illinois announces a change to one of our Great Lakes. Find out what that will be next.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6. Moving forward.
Thank you for staying with us. Now, we are just under 24 hours from the Super Bowl. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs are set to face off for the second time in just 3 years. The Chiefs looking for their third straight win in the Super Bowl, and the Eagles looking for their first Super Bowl win since 2017. And with any big game, wagers are on the line. This time it involves the governors of the states the teams are from.
If by some unlikely twist of fate the Eagles win on Sunday, I'll send you some Missouri grown beef, along with some Kansas City favorites, including Gates barbecue sauce. It's fantastic. Scott's Kitchen Rub and Barbecue Sauce, and the famous Chase Candy Company Cherry Mash. So what do you say? Or are you still recovering from last time? Your move, Governor.
Let me tell you something, Gov. These steaks and these pretzels aren't going anywhere because the birds are going to win.
The Super Bowl kicks off tomorrow at 5:30, and good luck to both the governors on their wagers. USAID workers who were set to be placed on leave Friday were given a reprieve by a federal judge who granted a preliminary injunction. Unions representing those workers sued the government over the abrupt attempted shutdown of the agency. This comes as the Department of Government Efficiency is preparing to take action at the Education Department, which Trump has threatened to shut down. Willie James Inman reports from Washington.
Protesters opposing President Trump's immigration policy stood outside his International Golf Club in West Palm Beach Saturday.
With the head of steam that President Trump has being swept into office, with this as the centerpiece of his agenda.
On Friday night, President Trump hosted a group of Republican senators at his Florida resort. He's trying to build congressional support for a massive bill to keep the government running, cut taxes, and fund border security. The move comes as Trump works to downsize the government by offering employees a buyout option and placing thousands of workers at USAID on administrative leave. Both actions are pending and under legal review. A group of U.S. representatives tried to enter the Department of Education to meet with Acting Secretary of Education Denise Carter. They were denied entry.
Already, Trump and Musk have placed DOJ staffers in the building. where they have access to the private data of millions of students and families.
The Department of Education is among several government agencies President Trump has under the microscope.
Pentagon, education, just about everything.
With help from Elon Musk and his program known as the Department of Government Efficiency. Willie James Inman, CBS News, West Palm Beach, Florida.
On Sunday, President Trump is expected to make an appearance at the Super Bowl in New Orleans, a first for a sitting president. In a very tongue-in-cheek video, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker posted a video saying there would be a change coming to one of our nation's Great Lakes. The post was a joke clearly aimed at President Trump, who, on his first day in office last month, signed an executive order calling for the renaming of the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America. Take a listen to what the staunch Trump critic had to say.
I'm here today to make an important announcement. The world's finest geographers, experts who study the Earth's natural environment, have concluded a decades-long council and determined that a Great Lake deserves to be named after a great state. So today, I'm issuing a proclamation declaring that hereinafter, Lake Michigan shall be known as Lake Illinois. The proclamation has been forwarded to Google to ensure the world's maps reflect this momentous change. In addition, the recent announcement that to protect the homeland, the United States will be purchasing Greenland, Illinois will now be annexing Green Bay to protect itself against enemies, foreign and domestic. I've also instructed my team to work diligently to prepare for an important announcement next week regarding the Mississippi River. God bless America, and bear down.
And coming up after the break, Blaze Keller returns with a complete look of your First One forecast. That and more coming up. Going to look at your First One forecast with meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze.
We are looking at the end of at least this round of snow as we make it over the next few hours. Flurries amounting to maybe 1/10 of an inch at best. Going to continue to move south and eastward throughout the rest of this evening. Then we jump ahead to Sunday and we're going to become more sunny as a new high pressure system moves on in. But then it does look like there's growing confidence that there's going to be a midweek system moving through parts of the Midwest Wednesday night into early Thursday. This is a snapshot of later Wednesday night from both our European and GFS model, indicating their interpretations of what we may see. This midweek system is closely following the path that our current system that moved through earlier today is taking. This is the European model's interpretation, so that low is going to start off here and then push its way north and eastward. That center is somewhere over St. Louis as we go into your Thursday early morning. Now, if we look at the GFS, it's a little bit further to the south. That center of low pressure, maybe just slightly south and eastward of St. Louis, but that center has been maybe slightly moving northwards. We're going to be watching this over the next coming days because this is likely going to be our next big snowmaker, or at least our next chance for accumulating snow as we go over the next 7 days. A Colorado low, so this is going to be packing some moisture with it, taking this green path at least for now. If it moves slightly further north, that is going to increase our chances here across central and southern Wisconsin of seeing that accumulating snow. As it follows the blue path again, it really capitalizes on that moisture in Lake Michigan and brings us more of that hefty snow, that quintessential snowstorm that maybe some of us have been itching for. If we look at the forecast snow totals, I don't necessarily want you to focus on what the numbers are saying, but generally speaking, look at where the lesser snow totals are versus where the highest snow totals are. And GFS and Euro are actually very similar. It's very interesting, and we don't typically see this, two long-range models really in sync with each other this far out. So the confidence is there that likely Wednesday into Wednesday night especially that we see the system move through the area. What are we talking about in terms of where we're at in our forecasting timeline? We're at day 4 to 6, so we're still looking at the general region that could be impacted. We're starting to see some of those snow totals come on in, but there's still time for not only the path to change a little bit, but also that would then impact our snow total possibility as well. When we get closer to that 1 to 3 day range, or at least 1 to 2 days out, we'll definitely know a more clear path. The totals will become more clear to us because we can see who's really going to be impacted by that. And then obviously 48 to 24 hours out, that's when we're really going to have the best idea of what this system is going to look like. So stay with News 3 Now. We will keep you updated. In the meantime, a little bit cooler to end the weekend compared to where we should be for this time of year, upper 20s to low 30s. Now, today, it marks 1 year since Wisconsin saw its first February tornadoes touching down in the month of February in recorded history. Communities like Fulton, Evansville, Judah, and Albany, to name a few, were obviously impacted by either an EF1 tornado in Greene County or the EF2 tornado that moved through parts of Evansville. Thankfully, there were no fatalities for this very early tornado kind of outbreak, if you will, but there was one injury. And now, Jalen and folks at home, we have recorded a tornado touching down in every month of the calendar year. So if the conditions are right, we could see a tornado. And we have a full breakdown of why we saw tornadoes a year ago today with our latest Beyond the Barometer. And Tanasia, she was out in the community of Evansville yesterday talking with them about how they've been rebuilding a year later. So I encourage you to check out both of those. But what a difference a year makes, because we don't see any severe weather, no 40s, no 50s, no 60s for temperatures. Instead, 20s, snow chances Wednesday, maybe that following weekend as well. And then after that, folks, after Valentine's Day, it does look like we cool back down.
I mean, time is just absolutely flying because I remember distinctively when that happened.
I do too.
Caught off guard we all were.
It was very interesting. I mean, we had a severe weather risk, but for that time of year, and it was really a culmination of all the right conditions at truly the right time. Thankfully, again, nobody was injured, nobody was seriously injured, and nobody was killed, given how early these touched down in our severe weather season.
And Blaze is not a braggart by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm just going to plug my friend real quick. Please check out Beyond the Barometer. Blaze does a great job. Very in-depth breakdowns. I think they're really insightful.
Thank you.
Anytime. Sounds good. Thank you, Blaze. And you can stay up to date on the weather on our First Warn Forecast Weather app. It is hourly forecast, road conditions, and the latest radar. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC Weather. Still ahead in sports, our Andrew Bancher joins us from Iowa City as Wisconsin men's basketball takes on Iowa for a highly anticipated border battle.
Back in early January, the Wisconsin men beat down on Iowa, scoring a Kohl Center record 116 points behind a Big Ten record 21 three-pointers made. The Badgers were down in Iowa City today looking for the season sweep. But that beatdown, it left some bad blood between the rivals, and it showed on the court. It played more like a tennis match than a basketball game. John Blackwell got the scoring started, sticking a three and flipping the calendar back to January. Wisconsin's Johns, Blackwell, and Tanjay were terrific as always. Trailing 26-24 late in the first half, it was Tanjay's turn. He drills a triple of his own, and they needed all the offense they could get. Because even in the second half, the Hawkeyes just would not go away, leading 62-59, and Max Klesmit makes magic, finding Tanjay for the triple, giving the Badgers a 6-point lead, which at that time was the largest margin we'd seen in the game. Tanjay finished with a game-high 22, and Blackwell, well, he finished off the game. Pulls up from mid-range and connects, extending the Badger lead that would balloon to as much as 11. Wisconsin wins it 74-63. Here's Greg Gard on the hard-fought win, and both of the Johns on each other.
I think this is a really, really good team, and really good teams win in a multitude of ways and find ways to win. And in this group, when we were back and forth in the first half, I thought we had more of an edge to us in the second half and more of a bite to us, specifically on the defensive end, and that ignited some things for us offensively.
He was huge. He was aggressive from the jump. He was being a vocal leader today as well. So he was tremendous down the stretch and just, a big part of the win. He competes every single day. He's the guy that we absolutely need, for our success. And today was just a testament to that.
It's amazing. Playing alongside him is just, he's one of the best players I've played with throughout my career. And he just finds a knack for scoring. If his shot's not falling, he finds a way to get fouled and get to the rim. And then he's just a humble dude all around. Like, even if he doesn't have a good game, he's still the same energy. So I love him for that. I love playing with him.
The Badgers improved to 9-4 in conference play with the win, but to get their 10th Big Ten win will be their biggest challenge yet. They get the next 7 days to prepare before next Saturday they go to Purdue. For now at Carver Hawkeye Arena in Iowa City, Andrew Banstra, News 3 Sports.
Andrew, thank you. It's always a little bittersweet when our homeboy isn't here. But
I was going to say, you can't talk about sports because it's going to go right over my head. You can talk, I'll listen.
My little sister, she's a student at the University of Iowa, so I gave her a little bit of grief after you
got the W. You have to. Sibling rivalry.
Yeah,
you got to.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Andrew was indoors. We're indoors. For people that may be heading outside, what should they expect?
Some light flurries maybe for the next hour or so. Cloudy tonight, 20s tomorrow, and sunny conditions. And then we kind of gear up for another round of snow arriving as we go into the middle of next week.
Sounds good. We'll see you back here at 10.